Tell you what, I feel really balanced, so I think I'm just gonna have a little bit of both,
I
right?
love that.
Yeah, yeah. And I put this up here because I like to pretend I'm arriving, like, in some sort of stardom. Oh, hey! Hi! I've been waiting for you for ages. What's happening? When people talk about the term communication, often think of it as just being your language. But I would say the most important expression of your communication is your behavior, because you unconsciously will behave. So unless you're looking at your behavior as being the witness, you're going to be running patterns that you didn't even know existed. And I'm a little bit savvy with that because I aim to be the best version of myself, um, and live by doing the things that I love doing. And sometimes I think the world in itself is fear based. Well, it's you can either go to love or fear, and you can get sucked into either side. A little bit dreamy love and totally fear based. I get from you when I met you that you were in service, and when you're in service for people, you're leading from your heart. When you're in service to
Absolutely.
yourself, you're leading from your survival center, and you probably don't recognize it because
That's
a
true.
lot of people are just moving in survival. But I do look at I use energy circles, and I always look at that survival me and the genius of me, which is really where I'm acting from my heart. Because I know that sometimes I will go into survival. So as long as I'm aware, it keeps me balanced, children. And then when I met my ex, who was a compulsive porn user and sex addict, he was a taker and I was a giver, and he just drained me of all my life force, and then I ended up having a breakdown. Um, so I had to pick the pieces of me up together, and it's taken some while to get back. Well, not back because I'm not the same version. I don't mind the version that I'm at now because I've had to adapt my whole life because I lost my memory and everything. Everything's sort of this is a teacher very knowledge and information based. But when I did have that breakdown, I'd have one piece of information here and one piece of information here, and it's like in my head, I couldn't get them together to connect in any way. Uh, so in my lack of communication, that muteness, my inability to communicate in any way, even a humorous way, I didn't have the skills or the capacity or the even I didn't have the why behind it. And now I have the why. That's part of why my work will always have a slant of importance of talking about your sexuality, too openly very early on in relationships to talk about sex and porn, and so it isn't hidden. There's nothing shameful and there's nothing hidden because I've put ancestral work all the way through this course and my signature course, the Heart Equation, so people can understand how to look at your ancestral past, and how that can impact your present in your behavior. Because I think when you do that, you've got more of a rounded understanding of who you are, and actually your behavior is maybe a representation of another family member who lived, not just your parents, but your grandparents or great grandparents, because it does skip a generation. And if trauma isn't resolved, it passes down through the family system. My podcast is Taboo to Talked About, and it really is a summary of everything that I've learned to do with cringy conversations and communication linked to sex, porn, intimacy, and relationships. All the things that I've learned since I entered the sort of counselling and psychotherapy, which then I've focusing on relationships, was useful because it helped me to work out what was going on for me. So if I was to say I was doing that to learn what the heck was going on for me, and I just thought, people do need to listen to this. Partners need to know what's going on. Parents need to know what's happening to their children if they're overly watching porn. We're turning the more porn you watch, the more likely you are to have predator behavior, so that you will just go as a predator looking and be very very
Mhm.
objectifying women. But it's whatever you do. If you spend all your day doing and looking at something, you are going to behave like that.
Right.
And intimacy is what we have as humans. No other mammal really has it apart from intimacy. And the intimacy is to be able to get close to somebody. And the closest you can get is to be emotionally intimate with somebody so that you can say the most vulnerable things. You can tell them something you don't like about them and have that courage and the capacity to say it and know that they're not going to have a wobble, run off, shame you, judge you. They're going to go, oh, okay. Well, maybe I'll look at what part I might have had involved in this, etc. And I use 4 blueprints. I've got the fixer, the overgiver, the dreamer, and the wounded one. Now, the fixer and the overgiver are the masculine ones because they're push, push, push going forward. The dreamer and the wounded one, they're going to have everything held in here, so they're the takers. So they're both, the wounded one is not going to be opening the heart anyway, so they're going to have an issue with intimacy. And the dreamer is going to be in a fantasy world thinking it's all going to be lovely. It's going to be and they text me, I'm in love. I'm in love now. I am. And actually, it's not really reality, is it? So you can see how porn taps into the dreamer's world really well
Mhm.
behind there. So there's some things that I can pick out, and I want to pick them out um, without laughing at others because there's a genuine reason why that person is like that. They haven't chosen to be like that. There's something in their childhood and in their ancestral background that has created the patterns of who they are. So if you've had a controlling mother, you are going to not really want to get into another relationship because you're going to meet a controlling person. Um, and then you end up, God, I just want my own freedom. So they go to porn because the person, which is a common thing, the person in a relationship who is in control controls the sex. So whoever controls the sex controls the relationship, and often it can be the woman. Yeah, you're not having any sex because A, B, C, and D, and the guys there. Oh God, this is my only way that I get oxytocin. Well, they're not saying that, but I could be saying it. It's the only way
Right.
I get oxytocin, so I don't feel loved now. So I'm going to eventually seek elsewhere.
Yeah.
So I want to help people to be able to have the knowledge so they can create their own architect of their own relationship. So I'm talking about masculine and feminine energy, all the patterns from the past, how to discuss things like an erotic landscape so that you can share your eroticness with each other. Um, and that's I've got 12 modules, and that's for people who just want to have a loving relationship. I say just want to have. It's not easy just get finding a loving
It's
relationship.
like this no. These dueling emotions, like, one part of your body is like, "Go for it, go for it, go for it."
Mm,
And the other
mm.
part of your body is like, "No, I'm not into this. Like, hold on, we
Yeah,
have unresolved things to work out." But
yeah.
but that makes so much sense because the partner may not be understanding the
Mhm.
reasons behind the no, and all they're hearing or seeing is
She
no.
doesn't want me.
She
My
doesn't
wife
want
doesn't
me.
love me. My life doesn't want
Yeah,
me. Right.
yeah. So you can see how it's a lack of communication. Generally, it's problems with sex or issues with sex in a relationship is not to do with sex, it's to do with the relationship and the level of communication. I have a little acronym that I use for relationships. It's called SELFIE. It's safe, easy, loving, fun, intimate, and energetic.
Oh, I love that.
I would remember that
Safe,
for the rest of my life.
right? Safe. You're not going to get past go if you're not safe.
Safe.
You are just not going to go anywhere unless you've got trauma. Like we said, I did when I was watching porn, and I couldn't watch it. It's not. I'm a very hearty person. It didn't. There's some things were, oh, that's a bit cheeky, but actually, what I saw was a lot of sexual trauma being replayed. Podcast Awards. So I was one of the winners there. So I was one of the top 50 winners in the Jen Hardy show. So that was this
Congratulations.
weekend for the my podcast. I am just about to revamp and go into the second series. And I'm opening a YouTube channel to put my podcasts on called The Heart Equation. And then in May, I'll be launching my signature relationship course of all my work and moving more into a mentorship. And then from that, I'll be moving into talking a little bit more to do with children. Really, first of all, what I'd like to give people is a chance to have a decent relationship and really know a really loving relationship, because that strengthens the family system. Every loving relationship is a strong point in a family system. And that is what I am passionate about. The energy, all the energy field wants is you to be balanced.
Balanced. I concur.
Yeah. We are love seeking orgasms. No, not love seeking orgasms. That's a good one, isn't it? Love, really, isn't it? Love seeking organisms. Yeah, and in that seeking, the seeking first of all starts by the things that's happened in childhood, but from that, the energy field will balance everything out. So it's seeking to create little ruptures so that you balance out. So love comes in different forms like that. I'd like to say that everybody has a level of worthiness and enough-ness to meet a beautiful partner for each other. And that starts by looking at your own behaviors and being having the courage to do that. And if you follow my work, I will present that to you in different forms to help you understand your patterns. We're both what we're doing, all three of us now, both different creative ventures. Also is to encourage others too. If you want to podcast. If you've got a story, tell your story. If you've got something inspirational you'd like to share it. Somebody out there will love to hear your story and learn the wisdom from it. It's ageless. Hold the show until I've got my lip balm on. Oh, hold on. Agnes, where's yours?
I actually put it on right before we went on.
Oh.
And I love this little thing. It has a little, has the top with a little spreader.
Oh.
And then you take it off and you just use it to.
Oh my goodness.
And it keeps. I'm obsessed. And I can't remember the name of the brand. I can't remember the name of the brand, but I'm obsessed.
It's nice to have a little bit of something, isn't it? I noticed was yours a little glossy stick?
Yes. And I love that. What is that? Oh, is that NARS?
NARS.
Love NARS.
Oh, that's nice. As long as it's not one of those lip pumpers. So by the time we come to the end of the session, your whole lips are the size of the screen. Can you imagine that?